There's only one.
A song for Medea, the Dragon Queen. Medea, Dragon Queen, secrets your darkest dreams. Come to you whispering, dance with the music sing. Medea, Dragon Queen, secrets your darkest dreams. Come to you whispering, dance with the music sing.
Toxic venom, Medea's kiss, dancing to the bank, cashing checks, cracking whips. Athena with a dark tip, Maltese island, sacred drift. Catherine of the water, purple amethyst. Chickadee +1 on the list. Bumping tracks in the ride, dark harbor, high tide, all-wheel drive. Hecate with the Theriac pollen. For Medea, we throw pedophiles to the lions. I'm with a rogue group of Roman rebels who make rope and fashion crosses. The root cutters with the black arrows.
Medea, Dragon Queen, secrets your darkest dreams. Come to you whispering, dance with the music sing. Medea, Dragon Queen, secrets your darkest dreams. Come to you whispering, dance with the music sing.
Welcome back to Lady Babylon. This is initiating apocalypse. That's what we're doing. I love it. And I thank you all for your time tonight. I'm humbled by the fact that you would give me your time. So what I will do is I'll give you my best. I want you to know I've got a couple of interviews coming up. I'll keep you in touch with what's going on. There's another one coming out with Wake the Dead with Sean. Wake the Dead with Sean. So fun stuff. But I want you to know, as the satanic congregation, I want you to know that I'm working hard. I'm working hard to bring these texts and to show these people. It's a difficult road. We have to maintain the integrity of this ship. We have to keep going. Remember, just wait. We'll get there. We're going in tonight. But while the ship is still pushing us back in time, I want to let you know I'm working hard to be able to bring this reality to light. All we want to do is raise those texts. All we want to do is give people a chance. Yeah, love it. And your eyes will be open. Yes, exactly. Now, if we end up naked, that's the mystery, isn't it? Fantastic. Tonight, what I've got for you is a portrait of the man himself, a portrait of Jesus Christ through the ancient Greek right into your brain. Oh God, are you going to love it? We met his angry father, Yahweh, last week. Last time we left him off, he was bashing heads of children. Oh God, these texts that I bring you, you realize I do this on purpose. I bring you just the cream of the crop, man. Just the cream. Oh God, all the stuff nobody will read. Now, tonight, I'm bringing you the stuff people do read, or they try to at least. And I'm going to give a warning for the evangelicals in the group. You think, I just want right off the bat, right? Satanic congregation, get on the throne, get there into that place, take off. It's time for Satan to take over. Now, what is going to happen tonight? Tonight, we're going to do a little bit of exposing. After the talk, what I want to do is to bring in Gnostic Informant, who is at war. This guy is totally at war. He is geared up. We're going to have to put a statue somewhere in a museum. Not a huge one. He doesn't need a giant bust or anything. He just needs a modest, kind of Hercules themed kind of thing, because he's working, and he's working with texts. He's doing Look at that. Look at that. Marvelous. We're back, baby. You can't hold us back. Right? Fantastic. What year is it? Okay, here we go. Look, it just gave me a time to have a break, but I don't want to waste your time. I don't want to waste your time. Now, we're going to look at some ancient texts that a lot of people have looked at. A lot of people have come up with just the craziest, some of them the dumbest ideas about, and they sell these things. They put them online and you can sell them, or they have big churches on the weekend, big gatherings, where they sell these ideas, and the people take them, yum, yum, yum. Love it. Well, tonight we're going to actually look at the text. And we're going to say, what is it saying? What is just translate the Greek for me, bro. Tonight I'm running interference. I'm running against that grain. We're bringing back Lady Babel. You know what I mean? You heard me. Lady Babel, the one with the tower. Oh, God, love it. She's gorgeous, right? She's really, really, really gorgeous. Now, I want to cleanse this place. I want to cleanse it with the poem, and this is a work by Nancy. So thank you, Nancy, for the purgation tonight. Let's get this temple cleaned out.
Liminal by Nancy. Let me enter this harbor from my weak knees. Let my voice fill with hers. New tongues, new waters, lapping together from the east, where we dream the oceans, and they always dream us. This is the ancient shell game near the shore, washed from the old depths to the new heights of Uranos, and the return to finally float measureless, like a child who expects to be born, but not before the heavy pulse of labor, the tearing of flesh, the taste of blood, copper cleft, in and around the mouth. Whatever waits for me out there is only some sunk ship, laden with coins, is just some dead star ready to exit our sky. Here I learn to breathe, the breath, before to after, where I find her currents and I can swim again. Here I rise from what I mistook as merely prayer.
Thank you, Nancy. Thank you. That's what we're going to do when we smell sulfur, right? You bring that poetry out and you cleanse the place. You just get rid of all the trash, right? All those daimones, they just run away. I'm going to show you some sulfur cleansing. Are you ready? I want you guys to get ready because we're going to see Yahoo and we're going to see Jesus. Wait, who? Yahoo and Jesus. That's who we're going to deal with tonight. Standing side by side, Father and Son gods. Oh, these are the ones. Woo! This is the rock and roll tonight. Yahoo and Jesus. Side by side. Are you ready for this? You tell me. Well, first, I got to take you to where they are. And where are Yahoo and Jesus tonight? They're in the apocalypse. They're in the apocalypse, right? I told you guys, I warned you, Satanic Congregation, all that child sacrifice stuff, right? I told you, let's stay away from anything that's genocidal. Bad idea. I told you what it would do. It's fueling it. It's the fire for the monster. Love it. It's gorgeous, people. This is the most gorgeous physics on the planet. Love it. The potency. Just think about it for a minute. Think about it. Put your mind in the sandals of antiquity, right? That child sacrifice is potent. Potent. He was like, give it to me, Abraham. Abraham's like, what do you want, Yahoo? Yahoo's like, give me Isaac. Give me Isaac. You know what I mean? He wants him tied up. He wants him tied up and sacrificed. He's about to do it too. He was this close to doing it. Father's Day of the year. Now we get to see him. Where are we? We're being judged. Do you people not see the reality? You've been here. You've been baptized. You know how it is. We're seeing the reality around us. That's the power of the oracle. That is the song of the muse. Let's bring that forward tonight, shall we? Thank you for your time tonight, by the way. Thank you. Give me my first bit here. Chewy, warp it to Apocalypse 18:23. I hate Revelation. That sounds like some kind of, you know what I mean? You know where I'm from. This is the apocalypse, baby. Yeah. What's going to happen? We're watching the destruction. Well, I'm just going to bring you there. We're watching the destruction. Who died? Who's been destroyed? Babylon. That great lady has been destroyed. And he says, look, yeah, there's not going to be any lighted lamps in you anymore, honey. There's not going to be any marriages, no nymphs running around. You're not going to hear any of that. All that happy marriage stuff. Oh, and all the merchandising, the sales, the markets, groceries, all that happy, prosperous stuff. You're not going to have this anymore. And especially with those aristocrats, he says, Megistanes, those big boys. What do they own? Everything. You know what I mean? Why? Why are we getting judged? Why tonight is Yahoo stripping us of all of this? I kind of like the marketplace. Why is he stripping us? Because pharmakia. Because of your drugs. Look at it on the bottom there, people, especially you evangelicals who've never read the Bible. If you're sitting here tonight an evangelical and you do not read ancient Greek, and I'm not talking like Kip Greek, I'm talking somebody who's actually read some texts. You read Homer? Then shut up. What is the Bible scholars of the theme tonight, by the way? It's a Bible scholar fest. Because I'm trying to get everybody tuned up in the Christian mystery. We're going to be eating flesh here as followers of Jesus. Right around the corner. Wait until you see what he's dressed in. Okay, we're at the judgment. What's going on? Babylon is burning. Yeah, why? Because of her pharmakia. Yeah, her pharmakia. That's what caused it? Yeah, her pharmakia. She's caused the people everywhere to go into a state of planetes. They've become planets. Yes, we wander. We wander. And how do we do that? We do that with drugs, pharmakia. What do you think that's there for? Right? Are you listening to Yahoo? Are you listening? It's because of this. Next verse. Let's get that next verse up. Ooh, that was a gorgeous pic, Chewy. That's nice. Everybody shout out for Chewy, right? Whose drugs are they that are the enemy tonight? The drugs are yours. They're your drugs. They're my drugs? They're your drugs. Let's go to the next one. Which Lady Babylon has drugs. She does. Look. And, oh, okay. Cue Jesus. Cue him. Bring him in. Oh, God. Where is he? Give me the lion tamer. Come here, Jesus. Come here, Jesus Christ of Nazareth. They're 12. And they're all boys, you freak. That was too much. Let's go Go back to that text. Show us Jesus. Chewy, give me Jesus. Blow it up. Blow it up. I'm an old man. What does he have on his clothes and his meron, his thigh? Did you know? Okay, I challenged you tonight, and I said, evangelicals, you've never read the New Testament ever. I know you haven't. The Bible, the whole thing. You've never read it. Here's an example. Did you know that Jesus has a tattoo on his thigh? He does. He's got a tattoo. That's what it says. And what is it? It's an onoma. It's a name. Now, listen, nuns, priests, preachers, this name, it's so important because what you have snipped out, what your exorcists have cut out, is the history of this. It's the name that contains the power. It's the name. I can feel you out there. You exorcist, I can feel you out there. I've been around you. I know what you are. I know what you are. That's how we always find a way in. Let me show you how you find a way into the exorcist. Are you ready? What's written on Jesus' thigh? Woo! Take up his little skirt. Bring it up. Bring it up. Let's see Jesus. Ooh, look at that thigh. What's that thigh say? Basileus, basileon. Kai kurios, kurion. Oh man, it's got a little phrase. Jesus has a thigh phrase. God, what are these words? This is the King of Kings. This is the King of Kings, man. And the Lord, the Kurios, right? That's the name that they had to fragment. That's the word they had to fragment right there, Kurios. In the 3rd century, when they wrote the Septuagint, or what you call the Torah or the Bible, in Greek, right? Not translated, but wrote it in Greek. When they did, this is the term, Kurios, that they took and fragmented linguistically, threw it on the ground, boom, and then said, stuck their own terms in there for, including Adonai, right? Including Elohim. They stuck them all in there. Why? Because this is a Greek term. This is really not anything but an old Pulaskian term. Yeah, when you're going back to Pulaskians, you can take Gilgamesh and dig a hole in your backyard and bury that 3rd grader. Oh my God. You can take your library at Nineveh. That's not a library. It's a shopping list. There's nothing in there of any redeemable value. It's no wonder those cultures never came up with democracy, but ended up attacking democracy. It's no wonder. The language is who you are. Did you know that? You are what you speak, baby. You are what you speak. All I see in this dirty place is a bunch of Anglo-Saxons speaking barbarians. Yeah. You don't speak. There's no music in your logos. You walk, you trudge. Why do you think the apocalypse is here? Angels, man. Let's show them some angels. Chewy, bring in that angel. Sexy, sexy angel. Yep, no, that's just King of Kings. Let's keep going. King of Kings. Right, and that's Lord of Lords. Go. Fantastic. Now I'm going to bring in a chorus because you've seen this, but I want you to have this in your mind. Because 500 years before any of this foolery that you and I are talking about has surfaced, before Jesus is yelling in the public park, I'm not a child trafficker. Well, this naked kid runs off, standing next to him. Right, he's got a bandage on his Yahoo, right? No, this is, I don't know how to be more clinical than to say his penis is bandaged. The boy that Jesus is arrested with has a bandage on his penis. Okay. I told you, you don't read the Bible. You never have. Here it is. Oh, this is not the Bible. This is one right here is a chorus. And I'm bringing them back 500 years. This is Greek that if you don't know this, Dan, don't you guys hate smug? Neil's on a quest to take down smug. Smug. I'm a Bible scholar. I'm a Bible scholar. Bend over, Bible scholars. Here's a fresh injection of a chorus. Woo! 5th century. You're going to love this. Yeah. If someone know this for a fact, all of you, satanic congregation, open up your ears. Know this for a fact. This is true, what I'm telling you. If anybody sets about to do something that is just full of hubris, and whether it's a deed that's done with your hands or your tongue, you're guilty in both circumstances. Those of you who don't have a fear of justice, those of you who don't respect the powers that be, wicked Moira is coming for you. Ah, wicked Moira. Wicked fate is coming for you. Isn't it great, people? You thought we were going to have throne. This is the great white throne of judgment. Ah, fantastic. You mean we can actually rest in the fact knowing that the people who perform the genocide are going to get justice? Yes, that's what makes us worshipers of the gods. Yeah, you and I, satanic congregation, we worship justice. Can you hear the power of the oracle? Because when we look at Jesus in the apocalypse, he is that power. Are you ready? Let's see him. Come on, Jesus. Come on. Let's show it. Give me the next one. Give me the next one. How's this show of paintings going? Do you think they get the subliminal stuff? I think they do. Chewy, nod your furry head. No, yes, yeah. Okay, good. Protomantis. We're going back to her. That's where we're going. The first. You remember when everything started with Uranus and Gaia? Do you remember in the Arche, in the beginning, when they were? What happened? Got that voice. Ewa, we all said. Ewa, we all shouted. Oh, thank you. Thank you, Lucifer, bringer of dawn. Thank you. Thank you for opening our eyes. We, children of Ewa. Oh, God, I love this. You know what we're on? We're on the way of Cain. We're on the way of Cain. Now, for those of you who pretend to read your Bibles, catch up. Go to Jude. Look at it. See what it says. In Greek. Don't do it in English because it's garbage. It's totally garbage. I was, for this translation today, oh my God. And they all copied each other, right? The early ones hit it. If King James does it, everybody else falls in the same pit. That's how bad biblical scholars are. Do you know who should be translating? Neil is going to tell you this. You know who should be translating the Bible? Classical philologists, baby. Classical philologists. You can trust us to translate Homer. You can trust us to translate Sophocles. You can trust us to translate a Byzantine dude like John Tzitzis. Oh, yeah, that's a sexy name, isn't it? Tzitzis. Show me your tzitzis. I've got a whole book he wrote. That's right. Okay, I can feel it. Can you feel that? I feel it somewhere. I don't want to show us, but I feel it somewhere. Let's go. Hit the next one. Right, before they recover. Here it is, people. Right? Oh, God. Where's this Haima? Right? It's the Haima. What? Wait, what? There's some prophets and some holy people in this 1824. And what happened to them? Their Haima is in her. It's in her. Yeah, just wait. Shh. It's in her, the blood. And what's going to happen? The blood of all those who were slaughtered. That's also right. All of great Gaia, right? You forgot we're back with Uranus and Gaia, right? Their offspring, right? And that's where we are. We're with them. Can you feel them? Look around your throne. Look at all the dead people that we've resurrected. Is he going to get to the resurrection? Watch. Just wait. Jesus will come in. He's not mad yet. He gets really mad though. Watch what Jesus does when he gets angry. It's kind of scary. Here it is, 19:1. After these things I heard. It was this great voice. It sounded like a whole crowd of people. What are they doing? They're screaming out of Uranos. Do you see where we are? They're screaming out of Uranos. Yeah. And what are they saying? Alleluia. 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 Do you know what it's like when 1,000 people from up there scream into your head? Alleluia. Are we smelling Bacchus? Because we're getting close. Do you want to see it? Do you want to see it, Dan? Dan, do you want to see it? Let's go. Let's do it. Dan's like, oh, I can't really read Greek, so none of this makes sense. Right? Okay, what is coming, people? Look at the last two lines of that. He soteria, the salvation. Our salvation. What is the day today? And why did I bother you and screw up your schedule and change things from Friday to Saturday? Because today is the day, March 30th is the day, that great time when we commemorate the health and the vigor of Rome. Yes, the health and the vigor of Roma. Now, I didn't say her sacred name, but I will continue to leave it in the ether for those of you who have ears to hear. You'll pick it up. And when you receive the name, you won't have to ask me. You won't have to ask me because you'll know it. Isn't that nice? That's how it works. You thought it was come to me and ask me and just get it enough times and you'll get it. Nope. It's an experience. The name, that name written on Jesus's thigh. Lift up Jesus's skirt really quick. You know what I mean? Rub your hand on Jesus's thigh. And for those of you, look, sisters of frustration, now would be a good time for you to, maybe leave the room. I know that you are able to come to a place. Yeah. Well, enough said. Look at the thigh of Jesus and what's that stuff that's written on it? What's all that? That's a power that is harnessed in magic. Because what is magic, people? Whole satanic congregation just raised their hand. Logos, baby. That's right. Power of the Logos. The power of the Logos. This is that Logos. Let's see the next one. Bring it up. Oh, God. This stuff gives me chills. To see the physics behind it gives me chills. Okay, this is Apocalypse 19:2. Then he says, because what? His judgments, you know what I mean? They're all true, right? They're all just. And what did he do? What did Yahweh do? Oh, we're talking about Yahweh. What did Yahweh do? He's the one who killed Babylon. He's the one who killed her. And why would he do such a thing? Remember, it's because of her drugs. Yeah, it's because of her drugs. And that's what it says. It says, she's the great porne. What is a porne? A porne is a woman who works in a temple. And she performs acts that are, you could say, are somewhere between a nice music festival and a medical surgery. That's what she does for you. Yeah, that's a porne. Yeah. These are the women with whom you won't associate. You can't. These are the first women to lose it because they're right on the front. When Christianity came after paganism, when it came after the Republic, when it pulled down the government around them and found some slimy SOB named Constantine to support their political cause. When they did that and started burning everything, you know, that's when the you know that Yahoo is in judgment, because that's what Yahoo does, right? We're gonna watch it. Watch what Yahoo does. Okay, now look away from Jesus's thigh for a minute. Let's pull back. Go. Boom. Go ahead. Yeah, this is what everybody's been caught in. What are all the drugs? Okay, seriously, people. This is what God hates. Are you ready? This is the moral of the universe right here. What is she being punished for? This woman that we just called a prostitute. What is she? It's her porneia. You got caught up in her porneia. You know those 70 virgins that you're going to get when you go to Valhalla? Does it matter? He's mixing his religions. Does it matter? You're not going to be able to have sex with them. Yeah, no, that's the punishment, right? Fantastic. And some of them are ones that you threw acid into their faces. Yeah. So good luck with that. Yeah. Isn't it amazing? You didn't think the virgins were important, did you? Of course they are. Look, it's all in the history. It's what we got to look at. Go. It's the porneia. It's her porneia. It's her sexuality that Jehovah doesn't like. Right? Remember, step one, smash the babies against the rocks. Let their heads explode. You ever see Satan doing that? You ever see Satan? We're about to see what Jesus is wearing. You're never going to catch Satan doing this kind of stuff, ever. Ever. Yeah. Interesting. Maybe things are backwards. You know, the first person to think that. Let's go. Next one. Oh, look at this. Yeah. And then what happened, right? Heard him shout out again. Remember, we're all sitting there in our state and we're hearing the voices from Uranos. Jesus did the same thing, made him go into the desert to visit the devil, right? So you know where we are in the quantum map, right? Everybody, I assume, is mapping this all out. You got it in your head, you know? Okay, good. Fantastic. I heard another Alleluia. And what was it? This great smoke came up, just drifting up. Where does this smoke go from Babylon? Where does it go? It goes into the ion. He doesn't say it goes up and into the atmosphere. He doesn't say it goes up and disappears in the sky. No. Uranos doesn't swallow it up. No. He says, what does he say? I want him to see the exact words, Chewy. Boom. It goes up into the ion. Into the ions. Yes, the ions, plural, of ions. Okay, remember, what is the ion? It is that shell that is around time. It contains time. Yes, but at the same time, it is outside of time. Okay, so imagine the plurality of the ions. That's what Pythagoras teaches. He teaches that there are 360 of these. 360. Some kind of geometry. That guy was a freak for geometry. I don't know what he was doing. Let's go to the next one. And so what happens? It's time, everybody, to get up and be happy, right? Make happy, right? Be agolic, right? Be happy and do what? Give him some glory. A shout out, everybody, because what's coming, says this text. What's coming is the gamos of the arniu. Is the what? Is the marriage of the fleece. You didn't think we were making this stuff up fresh, did you? Jesus isn't the first Christ. The first Christ creates the marriage of the fleece. What do? It's an actual operation. We have it. Some of our greatest minds from antiquity recorded the operation. It's a religious operation. Yes. You mean bah? No, sorry. And you know what's funny is the Christians always got this when you see like the marriage and then try to symbolize there's a sheep. Well, it's the symbol, right? No, it's the fleece. And it was a process that was started by the first Christ, the Medwa, the divine physician. Yeah, late Bronze Age, right? And so, good. You know what's on that fleece? That fleece is guarded by a dragon, and on it is her song. Isn't that gorgeous? Isn't that gorgeous? For you Christians tonight, you walk into your churches tomorrow. I know. You're going to walk in there. First thing you're going to see is this giant dude going through capital punishment. That must not be a good start for the day. Then they're going to shove something in you. After they take something away from you, they'll pass around a little potty for you to, your wallets to pee into. I know you'll go. And you can go tomorrow for the first time having read the Bible. I love it. You see what kind of service I do to the Christian community? Do you see? This is marvelous. Give me the next one. You know, I've got a couple of students, by the way, who can read better than their anyway, go ahead. And I saw that heaven, that uranon, I saw it opened up. Okay, here we are. The pharmakia has kicked in, right? And what are we seeing? Just like Jesus when he's with John the Baptist, right? In the water, right? What does he see? He sees that uranos open. Here it comes. And what comes out? Oh, God, are you ready? Here's the portal people. And evangelicals start salivating. I saw a white horse, and I saw the one sitting upon it, and he's called pistos kai alethinos. He's called trustworthy and true, and in righteousness he judges, and he takes us all to war. Oh, God, this is a new Jesus. I didn't see this Jesus coming. I thought he was all like crucified. I thought he was all wigged out on whatever it was that he OD'd on. That's what I thought. He's yelling, I'm not a child trafficker. I think he thought he was going to go up on some kind of RICO charges or something. I don't know. But the fact is, you know, he's dead. Not here, right? Right, not here. Not here. And this is what we all look for. I know you do. Those of you who love Jesus, I know you're looking for this. I know you're looking for this. And satanic congregation, this is what you should be giving to people. They want to see Jesus. Give them Jesus. Let's see Jesus. Let's see Jesus. Go to that. Here, look, Bible scholars can't do this. Watch that. What about Jesus? What's going on with Jesus? Well, his eyes are the flux puros. They have what? They have the flux puros. They have the flux puros. That's a technical term. What is that flux? You know what that flux is? It is that brilliance that you get when the lightning strikes. It is that silvery brilliance that hits right away. Boom. It's the first wave. Boom. And you get the lightning, right? Oh, God. Oh, God, it takes forever for that thunder. But that first brilliance, that is the flux. And you only get that when you've been Christed. When you've been Christed. When you have had that burning purple put into your eyes. When your eyes are opened and you have the fruit. Yeah. Do you know what revealing the mystery does? This is what they said in antiquity. Revealing the mystery brings the lightning. Yeah. It makes the Christ Love it. Love it. Love it. People were just asking me. So Christ is a word that is a pharmaceutical term? Yes. Oh my God. Why didn't you know that, Dan? Why didn't you know that, Kip? Why didn't you guys know that? The people who are getting millions, hundreds of thousands, and millions of views for their esoteric investigations. Here you go, people. You didn't know that because you don't work with the original. You know, it's obvious. You can watch your garbage and say, this is kind of laughable. That's why classicists don't mess around with the Bible. That's why they don't. Because it's this group of people who are laughably bad, right? Who have assumed guardianship, right? It's time for us people. Devil told me, he was like, look, Haman, there's a couple of things we can do. I was like, okay, give me the options. He said, you can either kick down that door and take that book back, or you can let this corruption feed the wrath that I'll take out on you for dishonoring the muse, right? Because it's his daughter, you know what I mean? I don't mean to jump to the conclusion, but you know, it's kind of important to him, right? That whole eye-opening thing and everything. So I was like, fine, we'll take back the book. Here's the book. Let's show him the book. Give me more Jesus, please. Please, more Jesus. This is to shock and nauseate you. Yes, I love those pictures. Love them. Love them. That one I didn't. Phlox puros. Here it is. Next one. This I just wanted you to see. Look at people. Relish it a little bit. Put your hands on this word. Reach out. Look at that first letter. Oh, look at that phi. Oh, yeah. Yeah. Seminarians will say phi. But that's because, you know, they want pho and fum. Phlox. Look at the phlox. Look at that xi. That thing is bumpy too. It's curvy, curvaceous, puros. Listen to that. Puros. Love it. Love it. You can see at this time, Greek is losing its musicality. Yeah, it is. It is. You'd never see this particular combination, you know what I mean, in a Aeschylean chorus. My God, man. Keep going. Keep going. Dan, suck it. Let's go. All right. Look at this. What is he dressed in? What's Jesus dressed in now? By the way, and I learned that the prophet Jesus is more spoken of in the Quran than any other prophet. Any other prophet. So here he is. Everybody that respects Jesus. Let's see. Let's see what Jesus is wearing. Cover up his wonderful thigh with that tattoo. And let's look at what he's wearing. What is he wrapped in? He's wrapped in a himation that is beba menon haimati. That's what? That is dyed in blood. Dyed in blood. Now, wait a minute. This is not splashed in blood. This is intentional. This is taking a garment and dyeing it, making sure it's baptized, thoroughly baptized. Yeah, bring that dye out. And what is it that they're using? Pray tell, Jesus, what's on your threads, gangsta G? It's blood. It's blood. It's blood. What do you think all those children were for? Right? Remember what the muse of the Vatican said, the Vatican prophetess. Remember what she said. This is all analogia. Analogia. That is what this is. That is what is bringing you the quantum reality. Good. Good. You hear it? Oh, God. Okay, I'm getting excited because this starts to get really good. Give me the next one. Whatever the next one was, just feed it to me. I've lost. Oh, here it is. Okay. Look. Oh, you got to give it to me quick. What? So Jesus has his threads that are stained with blood, right? And what is he going to do when he comes back? What is he going to do when this is him? Tell us, Jesus, what's a night out on the town going to be? He says, I'm going to open my mouth and I'm going to kill with my tongue. Oh, there's my superhero. There is my superhero. Dude, this guy's power, a sword comes out of his mouth right through your chest. It's his voice. He kills with his voice. Yeah. Yeah. What do you think that thing's already covered with blood for? Because, when you're out and you get spattered, it's not a cool look. This is Jesus we're talking about. This is Jesus. Now remember, 30% of your population follows this Jesus. Yeah. And they've picked their prophet. Orange Jesus. They picked their prophet and you have him. Tom said you should sacrifice him to the tree of liberty. But if you won't listen to Tom, you don't deserve your democracy, because Tom was pulling it right out of those classical sources. Fantastic. The same ones that we use to be able to read these texts. That's what I'm bringing to you, that benefit. So to listen to this is to be loyal. It's a good old-fashioned Tom. Love it. Love it. This is fantastic. I'm privileged. I told you, this is my greatest privilege. Yep. Let's give them what they want. Oh, that was down there at the bottom. We need the text before that. Yeah. And look what he says at the bottom. What does he call himself here at the bottom? Look at the last line. Pantokratoros, right? He's the, oh God, I almost didn't say it. He says he's going to shepherd the people. And how's he going to do it? He's going to do it with an iron rabdon. Now, you don't know what a rabdon is, especially if you are a Bible scholar, because all you read is one text that's already been translated. And let's be honest, none of you actually translate. I know. I used to teach in seminary and I took their programs through the roof. Love it. Beautifully, hugely successful. Why? Because I actually taught them how to read the text, and we read text together. I didn't leave them with anything that was, one here. We're going to spend the next 2 years on John 3:16, right? We also looked at, some tragedy and, so a lot of different history stuff. Yeah, love it. Love it. They loved it too, man. I bet they're using it to this day. You go, gentlemen, you go. All right. Fantastic. Let's get to the next one. Here we go. Look, he's going to shepherd people with the rabdon. And that's the thing that Bacchus carries around. That's the thing that Bacchus carries around. And you're going to say, Dan, that nothing here, right? Nothing here shows any connection between Christianity and anything pagan. Anything pagan, especially not the resurrection festival, right? That couldn't be pagan, because Jesus, he's an original gangsta G. He's original. Yeah. Rabdon, Dan. It's a rod. It's the same one that the Septuagint says that Moses is carrying that turns into a serpent, just like the Egyptians. Now, you don't think, Dan, that this is actually Bacchus, that Jesus is just doing things that Bacchus does. Well, let's keep reading the verse, Dan. What's it say? Dan, I know you're like, oh, quick, you look it up, Dan. I know. Your vocabulary sucks, Dan. I know it does. Let's go. Right? Who's Dan, by the way? Dan is your ordinary evangelical know-it-all. Yeah. Well, let's not say let's not limit it to the evangelicals, because this is the guy of faith. Dan is the guy of faith, and he's proud. Dan is proud because he went to the Bible Institute. He's probably sat on some committee or something, right? He's got a thing on his wall that says, I am a Bible scholar, right? Okay, Dan, put down. You can say, Dan, to all the Dans of the world, you say you read Greek, and I know for a friggin' fact you don't. Let's go to the next one. Read this up. Look, bring it up. Blow it up. Oh my God. Yeah. So he uses that rabdon, right? Same thing that Moses got, but ready for Bacchus. What else does he do? He does the action of walking on the grapes in the press. He's the one who brings that wine from the press. It's the wine of what? It's the wine of the orgy of God. It's that wine of that wrath of God. Who do you think brings that? Who do you think? Why is Jesus using the wine treading? Everybody knows Bacchus walks around with the rabdon, right? Everybody knows that Bacchus is carrying around snakes. When Jesus is walking around saying, you lift up snakes, it's not because he's trying to be Bacchus. It's because his cult is bacchic. Congratulations. You just saw Jesus for who he is, Dan. Yeah. Now, you can squint real hard if you try. It's not going to help. Let's go to the next one. Oh, read this one. He's also the Pantocrator, right? Yeah, it's a title they used of Hermes for hundreds of years. So let's see the messenger. Why is he invoking a messenger here? What good is that? Keep going. Oh, I saw an angelon. Right, you forgot. We're all at the party, right? And we just took the drugs at the party. Right? And what are we seeing now? The angelon. The angelon. Remember, it's because of our pharmakia that this is all, he wants to take it away. Long story short, Yahoo doesn't want you to have the drugs. Long story short. Yeah. And it turns out the best one comes from Lady Babylon. Yeah. Yeah. He doesn't want you to have it. The devil's got mojo. He knows how to make that garden work. So he wants you to have it. He wants you to know that liar. You mean God can lie? Yes, the very first lie in the Bible is by God. Yeah. Amazing. Devil's like, that lion sack, he told you he'd kill you if you ate it? No. There's a way. Your eyes will be open. Yeah, you'd be just like him. And he knows it. That was the devil. Devil's mojo. Here we go. Give me the next one. Oh, God. And what that angel say? What now? Look, people, are you ready? Okay, for those of you with ears to hear, tune in. Right, make sure you're on the throne. Are you ready? And I saw one angel standing in the sun. And he shouted in a great voice, saying to all the birds of the air, yeah, pay attention, come to the banquet of God. Okay. Come to the banquet, he's saying to the birds. Now, wait, did you hear it? You're augurs out there. Those of you who are augurs out there, did you hear it? Did you see the birds flying around? Do you understand the signs? Yeah. Then you'll be able to comprehend what is happening. Listen to the speech. The speech is augurial. Yeah. He's telling those birds, time to come to the feast. Are you ready? Are you ready, people, for the feast? What are we going to get from this feast of God? We get to have the marriage. We get to have the marriage on the fleece. And we get to have what else? What else do we get to have? A feast, people. A feast. What are we going to feast on? Everybody, all you Jesus-loving people. We love you, Jesus. Hail, Jesus. All of you. He touched me. Oh, he touched me. He touched me. Are you ready for his feast? I got just a hint of Michael Jackson there. Did anybody else? Let's go. What's at the feast of Jesus? Are you ready? Are you ready? Ready? It's the next one. It's the next one. Okay, are you ready? You're going to eat something. You're going to eat flesh, baby. Flesh. You know what Jesus has at his great banquets? He's got the flesh of kings. Ooh, you get to eat Putin's butt roast. Isn't that going to be cool? Isn't that going to be cool? What else? The flesh of leaders, military leaders, social leaders, civic leaders. You get their flesh. You get their flesh. You know, everybody, come on. You know, you're getting revved up and hungry for the flesh. You want a little Biden hoagie, don't you? You want a little Biden hoagie, don't you? Well, you know what else you get? You can eat some generals too, and you can eat the strong. Isn't that great? Is Huron, the strong. Jesus is going to give you a banquet. You mean when Jesus comes back, he's going to serve a banquet, and that banquet is going to have cold cuts of people? Yes. Yes. Yeah. And now you know why the Romans said they're going to be the end of us. This cult will be the end of us. Right? Didn't you wonder why the Romans they don't care what your religion is. They don't care. It's when you revolt. It's when you try to tear down the government. Something Thomas Jefferson says happens every 100 to 150 years, which is right about now. The only solution is the blood of the tyrant poured out to liberty. It's the only solution. If you won't accept the voice of the people will shed your blood for liberty. Yes, when we speak, when our vote is heard, yeah, then we know. Then we know. No tyrants. There'll be no tyrants overthrowing governments, right? Sorry, it's not going to happen. It's not going to happen. No. Not on your watch. Yeah, love it. Love this. Prophetic. You wanted some prophetic stuff, right? But look, people, you know what I'm doing. Everybody here is a total nerd. You know what I'm doing. All I'm doing is taking those historical patterns and giving them back to you, right? Showing us how that we bounce. That's all. You can do it with, just studying history. That's why it's so good to study history. You can tell what's going to happen. Yeah, lovely. It's you'd think that this is why prophecies are so important, because they can tell you based on what they have seen. This is the likely outcome. Oh God, I love it. I love it. Oracular wisdom. It's fantastic. Give us that next one. Okay, people don't have time. Look, they're like, look, it's been an hour. When are you going to call in Gnostic? Look, why am I doing all this for you, this banquet? So you can eat flesh. Remember, this is the same God who wants you to drink his blood and eat his flesh. Smash the babies on the ground, right? What's your reward? You get to eat more flesh. Give me the next one. Give me the next one. Oh, there we go. And I saw a therion. I saw that beast. Yep. And the kings of the earth and the armies of the earth all gathered together to make war with the one who sits on a horse, good, and his army. We got a nice war going, people, and I can promise you slaughter. This is what everybody who loves Jesus knows is going to happen, right? They're waiting for. Why do you think they're not gun shy, right? They're ready to get this stuff started. Let's go. Let's fulfill this prophecy, right? It's what they want. Let's go. Next one. Boom. And what happened? Now, this is the most important thing I've said all night. Are you ready? Look at the third and fourth words in here. Totherion. That's what's traditionally translated as beast. Right? Now, you and I have been studying theriacs, and we're going to see a theriac come out of the Herculaneum library, right? You and I have been looking at these theriacs, and we know what that therion is. They're calling it a beast, but you and I speak, and we know that the throne. We know what the throne really is, right? And we know what the beast really is. But it's more than that. This is not just Orphic Vox here that's working. It's more a technical use of the term. The therion is a technical use of the term, right? What is a therion, right? What is that theriac? You got to start reading the Greek priests, right? And the Roman physicians who are writing about these compound formulas and what they're doing, right? So what does this line say? Look, the verb is epiaste. The therion is uncovered. The therion is discovered. It doesn't say something about a brr. It says at this time, the theriac is uncovered. Look at the next. Give me just so they can see it straight out of the Victorians. Something that is determined, right? The theriac is unveiled. Yeah, isn't that nice? Because once we have the theriac, we've got the beast. And what does the beast hold up? As you all know in Satanic Congregation, she who has the cup. Yeah, fantastic. You cannot take these compound poisons of communion that allow you to enter death unless you also have a theriac with it, unless you're carried by the beast. That's how it works. Look, here at Amancore, we're going to send you there and back. You are explorers. You're going to go there. And where is there? There is beyond the dark star. You'll come back and you'll fill us in. You'll then know what is beyond, and you won't fear death anymore. Yeah, isn't that nice? It's a side effect of this whole process. So welcome to Amancore. Yes, fantastic. Flights are departing. Yes, fantastic. Let's go. Next one. Look, let's blow them. Just blow it. Chewy, we need the big explosives here. Look at this. Oh, yeah. Wow. The charagma. What is the charagma? Yeah, it's that thing that's punched into our skin. You mean these people are into this? Yes, okay. The tattooing is there for a reason. Why? Because he is the Logos. He is the Logos. Everybody runs around the mark of the beast, mark of the beast. Did you know Moses was handing out the mark of the beast? And by the way, Moses, the oldest word for muse is mu omega sigma, Moses. It's the same word as Moses, right? It's the same word as Moses. And Moses, we all have the chart. Look, I want to correct. I want to show you something that is fake tonight and a real part of your reality, but it's fake. Moses trying to help the people who are getting bitten by the snakes. What's the thing that you got to do for their health? You got to make an image of a serpent, a bronze serpent, and you're going to have to put it on a pole and hold it up. When everybody looks at it, magico, they're going to be healed. Now, for those of you who believe that's possible, I've got salvation to sell you. Yeah, but what's the reality anthropologically? It doesn't say that. That bronze serpent, it says you put it into a tattoo so that the person can look at it and be reassured that their medicine is working. Jesus Christ. Do you see how it is when you follow the fairy tale? You don't know it. Look at my arm. You know what's written on that? You have no idea who you are. You have no idea. Yeah, but it's okay. It's okay. Because that awakening, that self-knowledge, that's better than any sort of doctrine or dogma or list of things to do while you watch some dude hang there. Yeah, it's more powerful? It's love, baby. You don't need a credit card for this stuff. Let's go. Next one. Let's be almost done because we have to bring in Gnostic. He's like, hurry the hell up. Yeah. So this is just I just wanted you to see everybody else gets killed. End of story, right? Jesus with his mouth deaf, right? Imagine that. Imagine hey, everybody out there at doing all the movies, Marvel and all that kind of stuff. Make this superhero. Make it every time he opens his mouth, a giant sword comes out and stabs you through the chest or through the face or through the neck, right? Right? This is Mr. Blood. You got to cover him with blood because it's, he's going to get covered with it doing this kind of stuff. Just out it comes. That's the God that you people follow. The watchers are watching and they're like, what? Are you kidding me? Dang. Yeah, there's no great mother here. Definitely. Great mother wouldn't let that happen. She'd be like, cut that out, kid. All right. Go to the next one. And look. I just want you guys to know that there's hope because Satan will be released. This says, his time is going to come up and he's going to be released. Fantastic. Who would do such a thing? I bet God could be convinced to do that. You know what I mean? It's like, dude, you messed up the garden. Why not go for it again? Let's go. What happens? The devil is the one who causes them to wander. Look at that word that is 5N, planon, right? Oh, get your participles out, right? Oh, God, this is lovely. What is somebody doing who's planon? They're wandering. So when the daughters go out to celebrate Bacchus, and daddy says, hey, wise guy, my girls went out to celebrate Bacchus and they are still nuts. And what are they doing, Dad? They're wandering up in the mountains. They're like breastfeeding animals, making like choruses and lots of singing going on, stuff like that. But they're wandering. They're outside. You know who made this? You know who the author of this wandering is in your own text? Satan. The Saturnian Bacchic religion was started in the Bronze Age. And by this time that these texts are there, it's the core. Dan, I'm sorry, but the plain fact of the matter is Christianity is pagan mystery. Yeah. It's a corruption, Dan. Your religion, whether you're a Protestant or a Catholic or a Mormon or who else? The Jehovah's Witnesses, they're offshoots. Your religion is from a God who was arrested in a public park with a naked boy. That's the anthropological reality. Let's go to the next one. And he was doing pagan stuff. Right? He was doing pagan stuff with that naked kid. Sorry, but that's the historical reality. Okay. And so here's the devil, and he's causing them to wander. But look what happens. You know where the devil goes? The devil goes to the limne, to puros kai theou. Where does he go? He goes to that container of fire and sulfur. Fire and sulfur. Now, why would you say such a thing? All of you who've been watching and dedicating your time for so long recognize now what that sulfur is. He's talking about a purification. What are we going to find in that container of fire? You're going to find the devil in there. You're going to find Saturn. Yeah. And what else? Give me the text again. What else are we going to find? Oh, God. In addition to that sulfur, that purative sulfur, this is where the text says that Theriac and the pseudo-prophet are tried. Yes, that's where they operate. You want to be the pseudo-prophet? Isidore, shut up. That was Saint Isidore's buttocks. And I'm whipping him because he said the Antichrist is Amun. Yeah, You dirty old man. Let's go to the next one. This is who we're talking about. Yeah. Where is he? He's in that container of fire. All right. I can guarantee you what's in his eyes. Oh, love it. Okay, let's keep going. Did you think we would get to him? Here he is. Here he is, people. This is a Hebrew word. No, it's not. It's not. Not at all, people. It's a perfectly nice Greek word, just like Jerusalem is. I'm going to give you a gift tonight. Satanic congregation, this is for you. This is our toy in our cereal box. They used to do that. This is our toy. Are you ready? Jerusalem. What does Jerusalem mean? It's a Greek word. It's based on two roots. And it means holy minded. Holy minded. Isn't that a pretty name for a city? I want to go to the place that's called Holy Minded. Yeah. The stuff that comes later, the stuff that comes after, developed by rabbis, that tradition etymologically is bull. It's terrible, right? Their own etymologies. And they'll scratch their head. Maybe it's Aramaic. Well, maybe it's Shugal Zagazi way over in Samaria. Maybe he came up with it. They're geniuses. No, people. It's Chalcolithic, right? Oh, God. Why did they not think about this? Thank you to the archaeologists from Tel Aviv who will say openly that there's no evidence to support any of this. Yeah, it's a fairy tale that was invented in the 3rd century. Isn't that amazing? How would you like to know that, right? Wow, your entire world of being is based upon an invention. And it's an invention that tells you it's okay to kill, to take a baby and smash its head against the ground or blow it up. It's okay. It's okay. Where do we stand? Where does Satan stand? You're not going to see him dressed in blood. You're not going to see Satan with a sword mouth like a friggin' alien. You're not going to see that. No, no. The Saturnian age was a golden age, right? Plainly and openly recognized as a golden age. This is civilization, people. This is what the library at Herculaneum will bring us. It'll open our eyes. It'll open our eyes, and we will wake up from the nightmare that is Judeo-Christian heritage. We'll wake up from that. We'll be free. Adamantine freedom. All from the Logos. Isn't that beautiful? I love it. Okay. I'll stop because I'm glorying over the future. I want to give you a couple more, and then I want Neil to be able to come in. Thanks for hanging in there, Neil. I just wanted you to see Hades, right? For those of you who think you've read the Bible and haven't, look at the first line. You're going to see the name for the god of the underworld in there, and another name for another god, Thanatos. These are both gods that are used within the Orphic mystery that your Christianity is entirely based on, Dan. Entirely based on. Fantastic. Keep going. I want to rush through these. I think we're done. Yeah. Well, here's one, and here's another. Give me another one. Look at this. Make love to this, Greek people. Look at this. And this is several ways. Haides, right? They have that form. Haides, right? Where it becomes like a diphthong. Yeah. Oh, God. Love it. Look, they capitalize it, right? Because even your text editors know who this person is. So, for those of you who believe in Jesus, you believe also in Hades. Hades, right? Hades. Fantastic. Let's go to the next one. And they still have the guts, Chewy. They still have the guts to stand there and say, Easter has nothing to do with it. Yeah. Okay. Christianity. What do you think, man? Come on, man. It's not. Okay, I want to leave us with the words of Cassandra. Right. She says, oh my God, what is this terrible thing I see? Right. What is this net of Hades, right? What is this net of Hades? What is this hunter's equipment of the one who shares your bed? What is this? Ooh, I'm starting to get, it's a little bit sexy, right? Right? What is this huntress of death? You know, let those who are unsatisfied, you know, that pack, let the pack, this is what he's saying, let the pack that is unsatisfied, think of those dogs. Think of those dogs that never stop thirsting for blood, right? Right? Let them hallelujah their way in here underneath the curse. Oh, let them hallelujah themselves. Yeah, look at that first word on the last line. That's where your concept of hallelujah comes from. Yeah, it's a shout. It's a shout of a death bringer. Yeah, we're with Diana tonight. And tonight we're hunting. We're with Lucifera. And we're here to expose the one that kills children. Do you know who shows up when you try to kill a child? Diana, the Kurotrophos, does. The child nurse, she's the one who shows up and she rescues that child. And that child enters her service. Isn't that gorgeous? That's what that idiot Agamemnon ended up doing. Yeah, going to sacrifice his daughter. No, you're not. No, you're not. These are the gods that are in your text for those of you who think you've read the Bible but haven't. And let's go down to here. I just wanted people to see really quick. This is an aeromorph we're talking about. Second line. This is Hera Pambasilea. That whole Lord of Lord, King of Kings. Hallelujah, hallelujah. That is all based upon this figure. Nice to meet everybody. Meet the Sulectron Dios. Yeah, what is that? Yeah, the one who maintains that union of God. Meet her. Who is she? She's the All Queen. The All Queen, the Palm Basilea. She is Queen of Queens. What is Jesus doing? He is being a Bacchant, but he is appropriating to himself her title, the first Christ. Her title. Were you there at the Gamos? Did you see it? Did you see God and his Gamos? Fantastic. You've been to the ceremony of the fleece and you know now who the Christ is. Keep going. Last one. And I just want you to see, because everybody loves that messenger Hermes, right? And that's why Jesus is dragging him in the end, right? Why? Why? Because look at the bottom line. Look at the very last word. This Pantocrator, this Almighty, is the prophet of the Logos. You see the word logo there? He is the prophet of the Logos. Okay, we're set. You can look right through Jesus and you can look right inside of him and see what his core is tonight. I love it. Thank you for coming. Now we're going to bring on Gnostic Informant. I'm going to let him do his thing. You get a double scoop tonight. You get a double cone. I'm going to go outside and finish eating my cone. Here's Neil, and he is going to give us that Gnostic power. I mean, and he's in a fighting mood tonight. So, Neil, I'm turning it over to you. What do you have for Satanic Congregation?
Well, this is Hilaria Festival Week. And Hilaria, if we look at what Ovid says, Hilaria leads right into the next festival, which is also dedicated to the Great Mother. It's called the Megalesia. And you have two major Great Mother festivals back to back. One of them leading up into the month of April, one of them starting the month of April. By the way, April. What is April? It comes from Aphrodite, Venus. She is the mother. She is the spring goddess, the dawn goddess. There's a reason why Eostre in the Germanic religion or whatever pantheon is the same month. Friday, Freya's Day, they call it, those Anglo-Saxons when they're they're copying the Romans, obviously. Everything's based off Roman stuff. They're just sort of personalizing it. Well, that's Venus's day in the Latin weeks coming up. So just keep that in mind. Venus, Dawn Star, Luciferia, the spring goddess. There's a reason why this all lines up like that. So don't let anyone tell you that we don't know anything about Eostre. All we know is Bede wrote one thing. We don't know anything about it. No, that's not true. There's over 150 inscriptions of the dawn goddess in that region, predating Bede. I'll show that tomorrow when I go live on my channel. But I want to talk about what Amon was saying. He made a good point, and I agree with him. New Testament scholarship is in the wrong hands. New Testament scholarship needs to go, well, first of all, they need to just eradicate the entire field and give it over to the classicists. Their Greek text, the Greeks, people who understand Greek literature will understand the New Testament better. What they have now is they have these people go to seminary, learn Hebrew, a little bit of Hebrew, and then take that as if that's going to make you understand the New Testament. Now, some of the sources that I brought, Amon touched on right before I even got here. But if you let me go to my screen, first thing I wanted to talk about was Tacitus wrote some shit in the late 1st century or early 2nd century about Jerusalem and where the Jews come from. And here's what he says. This is pretty interesting. He says, some say the Jews were fugitives from the island of Crete, who settled on the nearest coast of Africa about the time when Saturn was driven from his throne by the power of Jupiter. Evidence of this is sought in the name. There is a famous mountain in Crete called Ida. The neighboring tribe, the Idaea, came to be called Judea by a barbarous lengthening of the national name. Others assert that in the reign of Isis by the overflowing population of Egypt, led by Hieronymus, holy-minded, and Judas, discharge itself in the neighboring countries. So that is a Greek name, by the way. And I wanted to pull this up to add to what you were saying. By the way, when people thought for centuries and centuries, people thought that this was bullocks, but then archaeology came along and found out that the whole Philistine country was all Greek. So the whole Cretan Pelasgian Chalcolithic theory turned out to be spot on. Any thoughts on that, Amon, before I go to the next one?
Hey, amazing kudos to sources. Look what Neil is doing, by the way, everyone, because all the Dans out there in the world, they can't do this, right? They can't. They don't want to use these sources because the sources show them for what they are. So it's better to stay in a vacuum. So kudos, Neil. Thank you, Tacitus. Love you, Tacitus. Oh, kisses to Tacitus. Go.
Now, this was the source that I wanted to bring that you were touching on. Now, if you read Revelation through the lens of someone who knows just Hebrew and not Greek, this was going to make no sense at all. It says, "Kai edoken e thalassa tus necrus," and the sea gave up the dead. And then it says over here, "Kai o thanatos, kai o Hades, tos edokan tos necrus," and Hades gave up, and Thanatos gave up their dead. Now, all three of those are Greek gods that have hymns dedicated to them in the Orphic hymns. So if this was given to a classicist, they would be like, oh, I know exactly what's going on here. Thades, Thanatos, Thalassa, they're giving up their dead, or some sort of battle going on between Thades, Thanatos, and Thalassa. And what I would say is Sabazius. Now, you mentioned you got the wine press, the Lenon of Orge. Now, if you're a classicist, you know exactly what that is. The wine press festival, of Greece is called. It's called
the Linnaean.
Linneo, yeah. Linneo. Sorry, I had a brain.
It's the same word.
They have a festival called that, and this is what they do there. Orge. They perform the Orge. That language lines up. It's very bacchic, but it's also very Sabasian because he's called the Pantocrator. He's called Hoopsistos. These are all titles that Sabasius gets. And by the way, before you say, but that's all Greek and this is all Jewish, John, the author of Revelation, is telling you he's writing to 7 churches in Asia, Asia Minor, Anatolia, Phrygia, Cappadocia, Greek. Guess who's worshipped there? Guess who's the highest god in all of the land of Phrygia, besides the Great Mother? It's Sabasius, who's called Hypsistos and Pantocrator. Something. So it all lines up through the eyes of a classicist. None of this makes any sense if you're looking at like Ugaritic text or Hebrew stuff. This doesn't make any sense at all. This is completely different than that. Now,
Can I just emphasize what a strong point that you just made? You gave 2 different perspectives, and the one of the people chasing the Ugaritic and Gilgamesh's hairy friend around, they're like, right? Yeah, they're not going to be able to use the evidence that Neil is just pummeling. This is pummeling, Neil. I love it. Keep going.
yeah, we're in Asia Minor. 7 churches of Asia Minor are all Greek cities. This is a area that is widely known heavy Sabasius worship. Sabasius is a dual nature god. If you read about him through Diodorus, Sabasius is both Zeus and Dionysus rolled into one. He's the father and son. You have a father-son godhead way before Christianity, and it exists in Sabasius. So, John, the author of Revelation, also wrote the Gospel of John. According to most people agree that's the same author. I think it is. So, especially when you start reading John, and it's just Greek concept after Greek concept after Greek concept. Who's Jesus's beloved? What kind of concept? That's a very Greek thing to have their own beloved, or to be someone else's beloved, and you pass on the tradition. There's this sort of thing going on in ancient Greece. Well, I got a source that I want to show you. If you want to pull up my source right there, John 15:1. Here's what it says: Ego eimi e ampelos e elethine. I am ampelos the true. I am the true vine. Kai o pater mu or geragos, and my father is the vine dresser. What the hell does that mean? Well, if you're not a classicist, you probably like that. Just Jesus is saying I'm a vine. It's poetic. Who cares? No. This is a specific bacchic title. Ready for this? Here we go. Ampelos. Ampelos was the personification of the grapevine and lover of Dionysus. There they are right there. Bacchus and Ampelos. This is the same gospel where Jesus and his beloved are together at the table, loving each other like Ampelos and Bacchus. Everything lines up. When he calls himself the Ampelos, he's saying, I am the lover of Dionysus, and my father is the vine dresser. And you pass that tradition on, and then John becomes his Ampelos, and then John picks another Ampelos, and it's beloved to beloved to beloved. This is the ancient Greek world as we know it. Any classicist will say, amen to that. That's a fact. But if you don't know Greek, you'd be like, this makes no sense. It's just poetic. Okay, who knows? But nice source right there. I love that. So I just want people to understand this. There's a language being portrayed in these texts that someone who doesn't understand the context of the ancient Greek world would make this. They're just going to go right past their head, and that's why you get these Christian scholars today. When people are like, well, isn't this the season for Hilaria festival where Attis is resurrected, and how about the Serapia for Osiris and the Great Dionysia in Athens, where they celebrate the dismemberment of Zagreus and resurrection of Dionysus, or the Adonia festival over in Syria, where the women would get on roofs and mourn and ritually mourn and and sing hymns that were written by Sappho, richly mourning the death of Adonis, and then rejoicing at his resurrection 3 days or 2-3 days, roughly within a couple 3-day period, similar to the Gospels. Whereas in the Gospels, 2 women show up to his tomb the same way as Osiris, where Isis and Nephthys show up to his tomb and take his body parts and put them together, and he resurrects. All this stuff lines up. If a classicist reads this stuff and goes, "Oh, this is all just checks out. This is just another telling of this sacred myth that's been told for centuries since the Bronze Age."
Okay. Now I want to ask you, why do you think it is that smug biblical scholars seem to miss the boat so much? How is it just, I'm going to say, look, it's because they're undertrained, right?
Well, and it's by design, because they are run by mostly the church. The Christian academic world is a Christian based. Most of their students are Christian. Most of the professors are students. Bruce Metzger, the guy that taught Bart Ehrman, was a fundamentalist basically, and he's writing books on biblical Greek, and just focus on the New Testament Greek. Don't look anywhere else. Just go like this. That's how they're trained. They're trained to have a knee-jerk reaction to the term dying and rising God. If you say that, oh, no, that's a bad term. Oh, I was told that James Frazier is no good. I was told that Thomas Paine is no good. I was told that the German philologists are all no good. The English folklorists are all no good. All of those fucking scholars from the 19th and 20th century were running circles around what's going on today, in my opinion.
And they've been doing this ever since the beginning, because Africanus was giving Origen a hard time. I think it was Origen, giving him a hard time about, well, do we even know what, the word for tree is in Hebrew, or do they not have that much? And Origen was like, yeah, they don't have a lot. So these texts you have could be Greek originals, right? It's not coming from the Hebrew, but what do we do about it, right? I mean, they're even excusing this stuff back then to maintain their own appropriated picture, because if Jesus and everything associated with him is just the corruption of a Greek mystery, wow, suddenly, I don't know. What do you?
They need Christianity to stay pure, so they need it to be in its own bubble by itself. That's why its scholarship is separated from the rest. You don't separate Roman religion from Greek religion. Classicists study both together. They're looking at the interconnectedness between the Romans and the Greeks. Same with the Egyptians. You know what I mean? And yeah, you have Egyptology. Don't get me wrong. You have different subfields, but they're all looking at the same basis of evidence and drawing from each other. The New Testament scholarship is the only little special needs like area where they're just by themselves, just chilling, as if that's like something that makes sense. It doesn't. I have one more source that I want to read. I think this is pretty interesting to end up on. So if you want to pull my screen up real quick. Now, this is from Livy. Now, he talks about Numa. King Numa, one of the only kings that ever ruled Rome. They stopped the kingdom and went into a republic for 200 plus years. And before they were an empire, this was what happened with Rome. But he sets up the religious institution. This is an interesting story. Ovid seems to be on par with what he says here. So he talks about how, I'm just going to skip ahead a little bit. He says, first of all, he divided the year into 12 months. Wait, what did you say here? Yeah, okay. He makes appointing for each deity his own special priest. First of all, he divided the year into 12 months, corresponding to the moon's revolutions. But as the moon does not complete 30 days in each month, and so there are fewer days in the lunar year than is measured in the course of the sun, he interpolated intercalary months, and so arranged them that every 20th year the days should coincide with the same position of the sun. Blah, 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 blah. Here's what he says next. This is the part that I wanted to get to. Next, he turned his attention to the appointment of priests. He himself, however, conducted a great many religious services, especially those which belong to the Flamen, which is priest, of Jupiter. But he thought that in a warlike state, there would be more kings of the type of Romulus than of Numa, who would take the field in person to guard, therefore, against the sacrificial rites which the king performed. Being interrupted, he appointed a Flamen as perpetual priest to Jupiter, and he ordered that he should wear a distinctive dress and sit in the royal curule chair. He appointed 2 additional Flamens, one for Mars and one for Quirinus, and also chose virgins as priestesses to Vesta. This order of priestesses came into existence originally in Alba and was connected with the race of the founder. He assigned them a public stipend and that they might give their whole time to the temple, and made their persons sacred and inviolable by a vow of chastity and the other religious sanctions. Similarly, he chose 12 Salii from Mars, leaping priests of Sal. This is ancient stuff. This goes back to Samothrake, if you know about that. For Mars, Gradivus, and assigned to them the distinctive dress of embroidered tunic, and over it Brazincurus. They were instructed to march in solemn procession through the city, carrying the 12 shields called the Ankelea, and singing hymns accompanied by a solemn dance in triple time. The next office to be filled was that of the Pontifex Maximus, the high priest. Numa appointed the son of Marcus, one of the senators, Numa Marcius, and all the regulations bearing on religion, written out and sealed, were placed in his charge. Here was laid down with what victims on what days and on what temples the various sacrifices were to be offered, from what sources, the expenses connected, etc., etc., etc. So you get this institution of the Vestal Virgins, and a reason why I brought that up is because these are the people who basically went into the Sibylline oracles. These are these sacred texts, the Sibylline books, and they would read these texts and get oracles through them. By the way, Christianity, and I've put this in one of my videos recently. It's called "They Lied About the First 100 Years of Christianity," where I argue that the gospel text and Revelation and some of the early Christian stuff seems to be coming out of the same genre as the Sibylline oracles is. Very similar, where Nero is the 666, the Antichrist. You get there's a lot of overlap happening. But in this text, they were told to go and get the great mother of Cybele from Phrygia, bring her to Rome. And when they did that, they were getting crushed by Hannibal in 204 BCE. After they bring her over, all of a sudden they start destroying. All of a sudden, Hannibal is defeated. But not only that, they take over the whole entire Mediterranean within the next 50 years. So that's where you get your religion from. And this is where you get the institution of the holidays that we're in right now. The holiday that they set up was specifically set up. It was a week long where they bring out a tree, a pine tree that represents the god Attis, and they lay it down and bury it as if they're burying a body. And then they ritually mourn for this god. Then they bring out the new initiates, the Gali, and these people were getting in the streets. They were getting whipped, like in the Gospels, like Jesus carrying his cross, and they're being whipped in the streets. This is part of the initiation. There's all this stuff lining up. Then there's a 2-day period in between the day of mourning and the day of rejoicing, where they start to rejoice the resurrection of Attis. If this was celebrated, but they'd also perform this in Roman-occupied Egypt. And the Egyptians, they love Osiris, so they didn't make them worship Osiris. They perform the same rites for Osiris. That's a big deal, because now we're looking at the Gospels, and we're like, is this just another sort of flip of this idea where you have the Adonia for Adonis, you have in Eleusis, the Great Dionysia Festival, same exact week. You can look this up. The month's called Eleflabolia. It's the month. It means like it's a title of Artemis. It means like hunter, like Artemis the hunter, Eliphabolia. And so during this exact same week, they're performing plays in honor of the dismemberment of Zagreus and resurrection of Dionysus. There's so much lining up here during this day that we're on right now of Easter, that the fact that Easter comes in this day, and by the way, scholars will say this is the only thing we know for sure about Jesus. Everything else we don't know, but the only thing we know for sure about his life is that he went down to Jerusalem during the Passover. How? How do you know that? That's a coincidence. That's a miracle. It's almost a miracle in itself that he does this on the same week as all these other dying and rising festivals. Last thing I want to show, his mother Mary. I got one more screen that I want to show, and then I'm done. His mother. All right, let's see. Here it is. Now, you look at the oldest depictions of Mary that exist. You always see she has the star on her head, and she'll have 2 stars on her shoulders. And it's the 8-pointed star Venus. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. This is, if you could, you guys could check me on this. Go and find the oldest picture of Mary and Jesus that you could find. I don't know if it's 4th century or 3rd century or what. Just go and look them all, get them all, put them all into a folder and just compare them all. You'll see the majority of them have this sort of design. Usually she's wearing a blue garb, star on the forehead, star on the shoulders. Once again, this is a job for the classicists, because if you pull up Eratosthenes, or I'm sorry, this is not Eratosthenes, this is Hyginus. Hyginus has a description of the maiden, the virgin. He says the virgin or the maiden, the Cori, is located under the feet of Oxherd. She touches the hind part of the line with her head and the equator with her right hand, and the lower part of the body can be seen at the crow of the water snake. On her head, there is 1 faint star, and 1 star on each of her shoulders, and 2 on each wing. Boom. Think that's a coincidence too? I doubt it. So all I'm saying is, when you look at the New Testament and the Gospels through the lens of a classicist, all of it makes sense. It's a Greek text. It's Greek culture. It's written in Greek. They don't have any Hebrew Gospels. If you've even had 1 Hebrew Gospel, I would say, okay, maybe you should look at it through the Hebrew lens. You don't. You have 4 major Gospels plus a whole bunch of other Gospels that aren't considered canon. All of them Greek, and then a few Coptic ones. No Hebrew ones. None of this is. This is a Hellenistic mystery religion, in my opinion. Karl Ruck even says that too. It just, everything lines up. Do you think someone who only studies Hebrew would know about Hyginus's passage about looking up, trying to find the stars on the forehead of the Virgin? It's the Virgin Mary. So I'm just saying, like, all this stuff seems to line up pretty good. But that's what I got.
Gorgeous. Oh my God. I can't tell you how impressed I am. My video may be screwed up, but I got to say, Gnostic Informant, that is impenetrable, baby. You brought out if you and I were going to a professional talk and we're both graduate students, we're doing our thing. I'm proud. I'm proud when you put that kind of evidence out there and blow the heck out of people, right? That's the way you do it, man. And
me and you never plan these out. Every time I've come on here, what happens is he'll start the show. I'll just sit here and watch, and as he's going, I'll start looking up sources and pulling them up, and I just respond to what you said. Every time, this is what we do. Every time.
Yeah. Look at how your facility with the sources is getting to the point that you're quoting the actual Greek now, and you're working through the Greek. You know, when your skill is down in the dirt like that, that's the kind of doctor you want. You want somebody who knows the turf. And good job. I can't now. The only thing that I would add to all of that is, what do we do then? Because there's a whole bunch of sources out there, whole bunch of people. You can talk about just about YouTube if you want, but you can also talk podcasts and all sorts of stuff. what do you do to get that information to them that the Bible scholars, the incompetent Bible scholars, have been obscuring for the last 1800 years? How do you get that? How do you break through that ceiling? Is all I'm saying.
I would say if it was 200 years ago, it would be very hard. But now we're in the age of information and digital age where anybody can access these texts. Anybody can find a tutor for Greek through Wizint. 200 years ago, you had to know somebody in your local town that can teach you Greek. So now we don't have any. It's almost like the way I want to answer that question is like, what are the excuses to not be doing it? We have every tool we need right now to just say, forget about academia. If they're in this dogmatic bubble anyway, who gives a shit? Let them circle jerk each other with their citations and write their books for their libraries that no one's going to read. You're going to write some academic book that no one's going to buy, but you're going to sell 500 copies to all these different universities, and they're just going to sit and get dusty. Go ahead, have fun with that. Knock yourselves out. Yeah. But there's a growing population of people like you and me who want to know what these texts really mean and don't want to be gaslit into nothing to see here. There's nothing to see here, anybody. Don't look at Hilaria Festival. It means nothing. Don't look at it. Close your eyes.
I think the way forward is coming in the form of this library, because I just want to stress one more time, if people haven't caught this, the library at Herculaneum, it was covered with a pyroclastic flow, perfectly charred those scrolls. We got 800 of them that they just finished scanning, and we'll be able now to translate and provide to the community as a public library. Now, the professors that are involved will tell you this is going to change the way that we understand history. You don't understand. This is the only library, complete library, that we have ever found.
And guess what? It's not filtered through Eusebius' 4th century. By the way, you know how much text we lost? If you read like Plutarch, early 2nd century historian / philosopher, and he's citing all these texts that he had access to that somehow we've lost after Eusebius, and the only text that was preserved is what the Christians wanted to preserve. And by the way, and they edit text, and they interpolate text, and they forge text, and they basically in the 4th century history got rewritten. And then you start getting all these history books where they just take Josephus and stick it in front of Xenophon and Herodotus and pretend that that's the history. It's like, no, that's never been the history. Josephus is made up fairy tale about Moses and King David. No one knew about that shit until like the 4th century. I'm talking like most people didn't. That wasn't part of like the history of like, you read sources from the Roman side and the Greek side. They don't say anything about King Moses or Abraham or Noah. That just doesn't exist at all. And all of a sudden, in the 4th century, history gets rewritten, and they take Josephus' history and stick it in front of Xenophon and Herodotus and Thucydides and make it look like that's what everyone's always agreed to this the whole time. No, it's not. That's not the case. Yeah. So,
yeah, it's bad. It's bad scholarship. It's really more appropriation than scholarship. But the lazy scholars of today need to get a kick in the pants and to say, look, what do we have here? By the way, this library that's coming out, it is, people need to know that they suspect. Okay, now I'm going to leave this to the archaeologists, right? They're the ones who figure out. I was on a dig myself at Megiddo. I know how complex and how careful and scientific classical archaeologists are. So more power to them. But they suspect. They don't suspect. They're claiming that this is the Julian library. So it is one of the families that is attached to the Imperium, right? Guys like Claudius are guys who are trying to grow the imperial library, right? Grow the imperial library. Nero is sending out people to get scrolls that are about certain things. They're growing. This library will have Sappho. It will. A Julian library will have Sappho.
Yeah.
This thing will have works. It'll have women that you have never heard of. Complete.
By the way, speaking of
Yeah.
speaking of Hilaria and Addis, at Herculaneum, they found a giant, not one, pretty big, decent sized statue of Addis sitting on a throne with a wreath on his head, holding a pomegranate. And this is right where they're digging right now. So my hope is they find some good sources in that regard. So, and this can open up give us some more context to what's going on for this time of the year and why this was the celebration.
Yeah. They've got a whole nother vault. They've got a whole nother vault that they're just opening now. Right. They haven't opened it yet, but they're talking about opening it. And it could have another 1,000 scrolls in it. And this is that, it's March for a reason, right? Because of Mars, right? You talked about Mawars, that older form. Oh, God. That stuff, it's the Lupa. It's the Lupa, the wolf priestess. The wolf priestess who suckles those children because they were the children of a priestess of Mars. She's the one, he's the one who got her, right? And that Vestal power is coming through those wolves, the black wolf, and they called it. And yeah, suckling those young. They called her Lupa. It was the word that was turned into prostitute.
Yeah.
But this is the month of Mars, baby.
And then tomorrow, April, Aphrodite's month. That's where the word April comes from. It's from Aphrodite.
Don't you love it? It makes sense, doesn't it? It kind of makes sense.
The dawn.
Resurrection. Neil, why do you think it is? And then we'll go. Why do you think it is that people are so unwilling to say, oh my God, look at the past. Look at where Christianity came from. Look at where Judaism came from. Because I just want to say, I know that you are occasionally get blamed for me controlling your thoughts. So
yeah, that in the comments, people think you write my scripts. I took that as a compliment because that means that I'm showing myself to have the knowledge of a great classicist of our time. So I'll take it, even though it's not true, But
it's an honor.
I do consult you on some stuff as I'm writing it, though. So that is they are catching on to some. They are catching on a little bit.
As it's an honor. It's an honor, Neil, to be associated with your work now because you're hitting hard. You're hitting it hard and source wise, and I can honorably stand here and say with the people at our conference, our classics conference, I can say that's my student. That's my student. You see. Someday he'll be a master. You know what I mean? And so we have to go. We have to go through.
You think I'm getting pretty decent at Greek, right? I'm getting there.
Yeah, you're getting there. Hey, it's not that you get decent. It's you're looking for Arnold Schwarzenegger. You're looking for the one who's in that gym all the time. Right. That's the one. That's your personal goal. And when you're doing that and pumping iron, the Greek that you did tonight, absolutely fantastic. I was proud. You were reading it, and I'm like, yeah. I was getting all hot. You know what I mean? Like mentally, kind of worked up. I was imagining, maybe like a pastor. You know what I mean? And you giving it this way to oh God, I know somebody out there is getting it. And Neil is giving it to you. You're Hercules. That's what I want to say. You're Hercules.
Check out this source that I found regarding Pompeii. I have it pulled up right now. So they found this. This is 3 months ago. They found 13 sculptures appear to be tribute to the cult goddess Cybele, and Attis. Let me just go back to what it says. 13 nativity. They call them nativity style. Look, what is she doing there? She's pulling something out of there. Anyways, 13 nativity style statuettes have been found amid the ruins of Pompeii. A discovery experts say it provides evidence of pagan ritual traditions in the ancient Roman city. Bam! Pompeii archaeologists said in a statement that Christmas mangers were obviously not part of the tradition in the pagan city, which were wiped out. Blah 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 blah. But yes, this is the city. This is what we're dealing with, people. This is what they're going to find there. I'm just trying to give people an example of why it's such a big deal that we dig in this part of the world. This is what they were doing there. Make sense?
Bravo. Totally. I don't know what she was doing there either, but
Looks cool.
Look at the influence. Look at the influence. Now, if you are a biblical scholar and you're living in your biblical scholar's bubble, this is the kind of thing that has no meaning to you. So can we really, I want to liberate. I want to go in, Neil, and with just you and me, Hercules, you're Hercules. And I want to go in and I want to tear down that lie.
You want to hear something crazy?
Is not established by evidence.
Jerome in the 4th century wrote that the nativity scene in Bethlehem, where Jesus was supposedly born from Mary, he says that site used to be the location where Adonis was mourned over by Venus. And they took over this site and made it the nativity site. Jerome is telling you this. Do you want to know what I read? So I wanted to know what Bible scholars say about this. All of them across the board. Jerome is wrong. Jerome is wrong. There's nothing to see here. Nothing to see here. There's a bunch of people, they wrote articles about this thing, about this passage, basically telling their students, just ignore this. Jerome is talking out of his ass. Yeah, right. This is the only time I trust Jerome.
I used to have a seminar called Coffee with Jerome. One of my favorite quotes of Jerome, which I think puts his mind the most on display. Here's the quote. Are you ready? There is nothing so incredibly ugly as a naked pregnant woman.
That's what he said?
Yeah.
These people are diseased in the mind.
Yeah.
That's a beautiful image if you think about it. That's the image.
Yeah, dude, the sculptures. Yeah.
That's you remember that Chalcolithic Kubaba statue they found in Phrygia?
Yeah.
She's pregnant.
Yeah.
So they are the exact opposite of how we think.
Look at the statues that you just pulled up, right? This is the stuff that is abhorrent when you commit to the God of child sacrifice. This is what, now do you understand why the Gnostics were giving them such a hard time? Because they were like, bruh, this dude is not all that good. You know what I mean?
Not Abraham either. There's a passage in Judges, Book of Judges. By the way, Judges is the worst book ever. There's a Japheth. I don't know how to pronounce it. Japheth. He sacrifices his daughter, and the way the text is basically describing it is, this man gave up his daughter. Look how he gave up the greatest thing in his life because he believes in God that much. That's sick. No God would ever make you do that.
They were reflecting the Jewish authors of the Septuagint who were writing in Greek. They were reflecting that Alexandrian current literature, just sucking that in. That's one thing you do beautifully that I think, it's another thing that makes me proud to be able to work with you and to have you on Lady Babylon, is that you do your homework with those sources and you bring that thing forward that they're not able to do on the biblical side. And that's another example of it. Your perspective, you're talking about when the Septuagint is being written, and it's totally revolutionary what you're saying, right? Nobody's going to want to. Can you imagine, Neil, what if that catches on and people start checking it and start saying, wait a minute, this may not be as silly as it sounds, that it looks like, and you'll have people who will step forward who are Hellenistic experts That's all they do is Hellenistic work. And bring in 10 classicists. That's all they do is Hellenistic writing.
This guy right here, Gamerkin, he shows that Plato's Timaeus is the same concepts being brought forth in Genesis creation. Is our plate? The people writing the Old Testament were Platonists, straight up. And he proves it.
Do you realize how that historically makes perfect sense, right?
Yep.
It's not a fairy tale. You have to, in order to believe that stuff, it's a fairy tale that you have to swallow. It's like history's fairy tale. Do you want to believe it? And you're gagging on it. But if you want to go to heaven, brah, or you want to justify taking this land and owning it, you got to follow you got to swallow. You know what I mean? All right. I've kept you far too long. Thank you, everybody, for coming tonight. I'm going to give Neil the last word. What's the word to end us, to take us out tonight?
I got it. The perfect thing I want to say. Just remember, don't let the holiday of the spring be taken over by something that came way later. Go to the sources and remember, this is a special time for resurrection and renewal of nature. The plants are going to start growing soon. The trees are going to start budding soon. Flowers are going to start sprouting up soon. And that's what we are celebrating. That is the real resurrection. All that other stuff came later, and it's just it's a fabrication and degradation of what really was what the real true Easter Eostre season is.
And to that I say, hail Satan.
Hail Satan.
Scythian archers riding on horseback, purple rain shower, latex alarm, more man with the plan, blazing the good stuff, twist up. Let's go down the list with all the ingredients, original sources, psychedelic potions, double trouble, ridiculous. Venus the producer hung on the temple up high, snake witch, queen of the dragons, growing weed in the graveyard, with kisses of poison for you. She's come and see it tonight. Nick you with the dragon venom of the darkest type.
Medea, dragon queen, snake witch of darkest dreams, come to you whispering, dance with the music, sing. Medea, dragon queen, snake witch of darkest dreams, come to you whispering, dance with the music, sing.